Hi, welcome to Focus on Management on the Virtual Channel Network. My name is Wendy Elaine Wright, and I'm so excited to answer your questions.
Tell us about your company.
Well, my company is called WAW Entertainment, and I'm a boutique talent management company located in Tujunga, California, which is right outside of Los Angeles. I've been in business for about 6 years, and I started my management company by managing children and a couple of people in the music industry. And as I had success with the children and the people that I was representing, I started growing it and adding more clients. So now I have many actors, a couple of directors, some film producers, and writers, and it just keeps growing and growing. So that's how I started it.
What first piqued your interest about the entertainment industry?
Well, I started in the entertainment industry as an actor myself. So I was a child actor in theater and a little bit of local television, and I absolutely love performing. I was a singer for many years, and I wanted to learn every single thing I could about the industry. So I became an assistant to a lot of top high-level agents. I worked at APA. I was Whoopi Goldberg's manager's assistant. I was the publicist assistant for Michael Jackson, Barbra Streisand, Neil Diamond, Lionel Richie, Dolly Parton. So I figured the best way to learn about the business for my own career to be successful was to work as the assistant to really powerful people in the business who I could learn how the business worked inside and out from them, and that's what I did for about 10 years.
What made you decide to start a boutique management firm?
As an agent's assistant, and then I became a talent agent, and I did that for quite a while. I decided to become a manager because it's there's such a difference between being an agent and a manager. A manager has so much interaction with the actors on a personal level and can really take a look at what's happening in their overall career and how to free them from places where they're blocked, move them further along in the positions that they're trying to get to. And an agent doesn't really do that. An agent spends the time submitting their clients. And a lot of times agents, a lot of them are my best friends, so I say this with love. A lot of agents have a lot of clients on their roster. It's hard to pay attention to each and every client you have on the roster. Sometimes you might focus on one client, getting them an audition, and then the next week focus on other clients to get them auditions. But you're never focusing on all of them at all at the same time when you're an agent. It's just too many. So as a manager, you get to really focus in on each individual actor, where they are in their career, and take them by the hand. And if they don't have enough training, make sure they get the right training. If they don't have the contacts, make sure they're meeting the right people. If they don't have a great demo reel, make sure they're shooting a great demo reel. You're just so much more hands-on, and when they have successes, it is so freaking awesome because it's kind of like your collaboration between your client and yourself. Everything you know, you're putting into their career, and when it starts to pay off, I don't think there's any other feeling like them achieving their success. And as an agent, it's just much different. There's a high turnover. It's not as personally involved. It's just so much more about money for agents and their bosses expecting them to get the bookings, or they don't even have a job. So there's a lot more pressure in an agency to be booking. And as a manager, I don't think of it that way. I'm in it for the long haul with the client, and I'm not going to drop a client that's not booking for 3 months or a year. And I really want to see this client go from the dream to the reality. And if that takes 10 years, then that's what it takes. With an agent, it could take 6 months, and then they're starting to think, oh, this person didn't book on pilot season, so if they don't book in the next 3 months, they're out of here. And that's not the same way I work as a manager. So it's much more involved and much more rewarding for me.
How important is the assistant to the agent, manager, and casting director?
It is very, very important to be friendly and have an interaction with every assistant you talk to, because honestly, this is something that actors don't always understand. The assistant, and I know this because I've been an assistant for many years, the assistant has the ability to go straight to the person they work for and say, I found this really great actress that I think you should look at. They have the ability to give your information directly to their boss in a personal way that is like you walk in and hand it to them way. It opens doors that you couldn't possibly get into yourself. So if you're actor, let's say, and you have a headshot and resume, and you want to send it to an agent, and you pick up the phone and say, hi, I want to get my headshot to this agent. This assistant has heard this all day long. They've gotten every single headshot, every resume they could have through their email. They have them stacked on their desk. They have actors calling all the time. There's no motivation for the assistant to stand up from their desk and walk your headshot into that agent. But if you take the time to stop worrying about the agent and think about the assistant, this assistant is likely trying to become an agent. And they usually get overlooked because they're just there to facilitate what is happening with the agent. But if you take the time to say, hello, assistant, get their name. Hello, Mary. It's so great to meet you. And I would like to send you my headshot and resume for consideration and representation by your agency. You're making this agent very important all of a sudden. And you should be taking notes every time you have that phone call. If you make a list of the agents that you want to contact, then you should be calling and finding out who the assistant is to that agent and contacting the assistant. Forget about the agent. The agent is not really overly concerned with you at this time. They have their own roster. They're out at showcases. They have more than enough actors to choose from. There's no reason why they would interrupt their day to talk to you. But let's say you've been building a relationship with the assistant, and you've written down their name, and she says, I'm going to go take a trip to, China next year or whatever, or next month. And you write that down. Mary's taking a trip to China, and Mary has 2 kids. Whatever you're finding out, her birthday. The next time that you call back and you say, hi, Mary, how is your daughter doing? Or how was your trip to China? Or something where you remember something about that assistant, you've just created a friend. Someone that you're taking interest, you're showing you're taking interest in that assistant. And that assistant is going to be an agent someday. That assistant also, if they like you, will hand your headshot and resume directly to their agent that they work for. It will now go ahead of everybody on their desk, everyone that they've seen at the showcase. It just advances your career so much faster if you pay attention to assistants. And not just assistants at agents' offices, but managers, networks, studios. Assistants are the key to get you past doors that are closed for you for a long time. And I speak personally as my assistant in my office is one of my trusted, most inner circle people. She has access to everything I do. She hears everything I say, everything I need, what's frustrating me about the clients I have, what things I'd like to see in the actors I'm looking for. She knows what I need. So when she comes to me and says, I was at a workshop and I saw this actor, and she hands me a headshot and resume, and she says, and this actor is exactly the opposite of what you were complaining about last week. This actor is in classes. She has an amazing headshot. I really think you should take a look at her. I am immediately going to put down what I'm doing and actually look at what my assistant is telling me, because that's how vital the relationship between her and I are. And that's how easily it is for you to actually open a door to get to know someone like me.
What attracts you to an actor?
As an actor myself, that started in the theater when I was 9 years old and has had a love of movies and television my entire life and of creative people, I need to see that kind of commitment from any actor that is going to approach me for management. So if an actor comes to me and says, hi, I want to be an actor, and you can trust me, I will deliver, and then I look at their resume and there's no theater, there's no acting classes, there's nothing that would show me that they're really invested in building their skills as an actor, I will not be interested in them in the slightest. And I don't care if they have a good look. I don't care if they seem like a nice person. A person who wants to be an actor is committed to acting for their life. It is a way of life. So an actor has to come to me and show me a resume that reflects training that they've been doing for years and years and years with different people. I don't care if they lived in Kentucky, New York, Chicago, the back hills of Montana. As long as they're in acting class consistently year after year after year, I know they're perfecting their craft. And if an actor is acting in theater, in community theater, local television, if they're submitting themselves on Actors Access, LA Casting, or on any of the online websites, Casting Frontier, Backstage.com, there's so many places where an actor can be trying to get their own work. An actor has to want to work as an actor and be willing to work as an actor without any payoff other than the acting. And if an actor doesn't feel that way about it, I'm not really that interested in working with that actor, because they're not understanding that this is a lifetime journey. This is a passion that is so deeply a part of your heart and soul that you would do it for free. You hear that all the time, but it's really true. I have to see that kind of desire and see that an actor loves the process of acting as much as they love life. That is their life. Because the time it takes to actually become a successful actor is years and years and years. So that they have a misconception about that and they think, well, I just want to get on television. I want to get on television next month. I want to get on television next year. So does about 160,000 other actors. And the kind of actor that's going to get on television is the kind that's going to show up for auditions over and over and over, year after year after year, as they build those relationships. And if they don't have that kind of understanding of it, they're going to be quitting in a couple of months, 6 months or a year. And why I wouldn't waste any time and energy. And I also wouldn't introduce them to any context that I've spent years building if this actor isn't really 100% committed to the craft.
What turns you off about an actor?
There's a lot of things that can turn me off about an actor, and unprofessionalism is the number one thing that turns me off. So just this morning, I get calls and emails, every single day from wannabe actors that are really driven, and actors who maybe don't have an idea what they're doing, and they're looking for a manager. And I get calls where people sound like they are can't communicate, and they're talking on and on and on about their personal life, and when you have any moment of time with someone who's in the business, it should be professional, to the point, and sharing your acting reel and your headshot and resume with them in a really friendly, professional manner. So an actor who doesn't understand that this is a business with millions of dollars riding on it, and that every single moment you interact with someone in the business should be professional, that's a pet peeve for me. I will be turned off completely by that. I won't even return their phone call.
At what point do you decide to part ways with an actor?
I part ways with a client when they are not doing what it takes to advance their own career. So if I have a client for a year or two, and first of all, when they're brand new and they come to me, I have to be so moved by their acting ability that I decide to work with them. And I have to see that they're committed to their process of becoming an actor. But there's a whole other side to this than the show part of it. There's the business part of it. And unfortunately, actors have to learn how to become marketers now and spend their time branding and marketing instead of just acting. But that's the way the business is set up now, and that's the way it works. So if an actor doesn't understand how crucial their marketing materials are and doesn't get their ducks in a row in that area, I can't sell them. I can't call someone that has a really powerful position in the industry and say, hey, this actress is amazing and you've got to see them. And they say, well, send me the demo reel. And the demo reel is crap. I can't send a demo reel like that to someone that I want to maintain a relationship with. So a lot of times if an actor doesn't have the highest quality demo reel they just don't get how important that is. And it just looks amateuristic. If they don't get that, I will drop them. I will drop them if they don't get their demo reel together. That's a big no-no for me.
Why is a demo reel so important?
A demo reel is really, really critical these days because so much is done digitally and on the internet now. I mean, the entire business is run online. So I think even when you're submitting to breakdowns, actors that don't have demo reels, it doesn't go to the top. And actors with demo reels, it goes to the top of the submissions. I could be wrong. I think that's how it works. And so if you don't have a demo reel, you're not even really competing with the people who do. So this is a business where you have to be smart. And you can't shoot yourself in the foot by not being prepared. You have to be really prepared. A lot of times an actor has a demo reel that is never going to work. And the reason is they're getting the footage from student projects they did or short films they did or whatever, and the footage is at a distance, let's say. I had a client I was working with once, really talented actress, and I loved working with her. I wish we had continued our relationship, but she could never understand how important her demo reel was. So as an artist, she would say, she'd show me a clip, and it would be of her arguing with a guy in the hall down there. and it was framed in this interesting lighting, and but I couldn't see her face. And if I sent that to a casting director, they would be like, I can't see her face, I can't see her expressions. I wouldn't even send it. So when I told this actress, listen, this clip is never going to work on your demo reel, she was so mad at me. She was like, you don't understand the quality of the acting I was doing in that scene. And I understand that it was a really powerful scene, and she really went there emotionally. But what it looks like is two people arguing down a hall, which is useless on a demo reel. So getting an actor to understand that a demo reel should be framed exactly like you see me right now, talking to another actor without, in high definition, focus so that you could see my eyes, see my emotion. That is how it should be. A clip, and if you watch television, you will see that shot all the time. It's an over-the-shoulder shot. You could be watching CSI Miami or any television show, and you'll see that their close-up is on the actor shooting over the shoulder of another actor, and you really can see their expressions and the depth of the emotion and whatever's being conveyed between those two actors. Then it'll switch cameras, we'll switch and see the other actor they're talking to, and it'll go back and forth. Your clips should look like that. It should look close, tight, and really be an intense scene between you and another actor. And if you don't have that on your demo reel, I don't believe that your demo reel is ever going to work. A lot of times, a new actor's demo reel is them walking through a park with a gun, or walking towards someone, or standing with their back talking to somebody else, or two people in the scene who look exactly alike. Just really simple mistakes that, if you correct them, it could really move your career forward a lot faster. And unfortunately, actors are really sensitive about their demo material. They did the work. They feel really proud about it. It was maybe one of the first times they were on camera, or even if it was a great role in a project, it doesn't mean the footage is right for a demo reel. So telling that to an actor can create a lot of ego problems, and they can get really offended with you when you try to explain that none of the work that they just spent the last year doing can actually be put on their demo reel. That's a hard one. And so if an actor can't overcome that hurdle and take that criticism, it's not even criticism, it's like reality, take that information in and change what's on their demo reel, I will have to drop them.
Are you an advocate of actors creating scenes for their demo reels?
I think a really well-created scene that shows your type and your talent in a really strong way, I think can be a really useful tool to get people to see some of what you're capable of doing. But I think that those scenes have to be replaced with higher quality work as you get it. It's something that you might want to use in the beginning of your career to get an agent maybe, or to get a manager, or maybe to get a short film or student film, or just to show somebody what you're capable of. But it has to be really high quality. It has to just really showcase you. I mean, if it's funny, it needs to be funny. It needs to make you laugh. If it's a really good dramatic piece, it really needs to be deep and character driven, in my opinion. So I think you can use that in the beginning of your career, but as time goes on, you've got to replace it with legitimate credits.
How do you make and utilize contacts?
Contacts in this business are everything. Who you know in the business can open the doors for you in ways that you cannot imagine. And those relationships take years to cultivate, and they are not an overnight thing. So one of the big problems actors have, in my opinion, is they expect an immediate result to the actions that they take. So they go to a casting director workshop, and then they want to get called in. And if they're not getting called in, they don't think that relationship's worth pursuing. Or they go to an agent meeting, and that agent doesn't sign them right then and there, so now they're done with that agent. And they have a manager, and that manager that they've sent their headshot to or they've seen, but they don't stay in touch with that manager. The manager didn't sign them, now they're done with that manager. And they don't understand that this is a long-term process, and everybody's very, very connected. And people will show up again and again in your career in different areas. And so when you meet people, you should be trying to vibe with them in a really personal way. Not an unprofessional way, but a really friendly, personable, professional way. And understand that person can open doors for you 5 years down the road. I always use this example about Jessica Lange, who got an audition for Frances years and years and years later with the same person that didn't cast her for a project years ago. They brought her in years later for a role because they saw her in an audition years ago and remembered her and loved her, brought her in 15 years later, I think it was, for Frances, which she had the lead in and booked and won the Academy Award. So that's the kind of longevity you have to think about if you're going to be successful in this business. If you meet someone, think of this person as going to be a friend for life. You got to nurture that relationship like it's a friend. So I could give you an example. I had a client named Adriana, who was one of the most beautiful, talented kids I've ever worked with. And when I worked for Beau Shoot years ago, when I was her assistant, we represented Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Faustino and Neil Patrick Harris and Johnny Galecki and all these really big stars. I used to hear the name Robin Nassif tossed around all the time. So when I started managing Adriana, I was like, I'm going to get Robin Nassif as her agent. I didn't know Robin Nassif. So I have to make connections just like you do as an actor, just like anyone does. I have to make connections. I'm not afraid to make a phone call, and you need to not be afraid to make a phone call too. You just got to be able to call anybody, okay? So I picked up the phone and I called Robin Nassif and I said, I have an actress here who is amazing, and I really think that you should meet her. And she didn't know me from Adam, but my conviction was strong. And I sound professional and I was passionate and I was right to the point. I didn't waste her time. She said, sure, bring her in on Friday. So I brought her in. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, and she took my actress in, and then she came back out, and she said, can I speak to you, please? I said, sure. So I went in, and she said, what made you think this child could act? And I said, I was totally surprised. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, the child looked down like this the entire time. I went, oh, my God, okay. I said, I'm going to work with her myself, and can I bring her back in a couple of weeks? Can you imagine the audacity? She was like, you know what? You have 3 months. You can bring her back. Thank you so much. All right. So I went out into the hall with the mother and the child, and I was like, I've never seen this child shy at all. What just happened in there? And the mother said, oh, I forgot to tell you, when she meets new people, she's very shy. I said, okay. So I worked with her for 3 months. And I took this child back to Robin Nassif, and I had coached her so hard. I made sure she made eye contact, that she spoke up. She did all that with me personally, but I had her do it with a whole bunch of strangers everywhere we went. In every class, I brought in people she didn't know. I mean, I really coached this girl. And I took her back to Robin Nassif, and she signed her. And Robin was the coolest girl. She's really like the head of ABC comedy casting for 15 years. She was a really well-connected, high-profile agent, and I decided I needed her in my corner. So I stayed on top of her. I contacted her. I invited her to movies. I invited her to dinner, and we became friends, and we became really close friends. And that relationship has brought me new clients that she represents, that I now manage, a whole network of other women in the business who are really powerful industry players, and quality relationships with my friends, her friends, just my whole network expanded from that one relationship. So that's how important one relationship could be in your life. You may already have people in your circle that are very powerful, and you're not nurturing and watering that relationship. One of the things that I do in that relationship is I don't make that relationship about me. I always make my relationships about them and what I can bring to the relationship, and how I can serve the friendship, how I can serve the person, how I can be of use and enrich their lives. When you're building relationships with people, it should never be about you. It should always be about how you can give and bring to them. And when you build those kind of relationships with people, those people will go anywhere and do anything for you. And that's the kind of relationships you want. So definitely, even if you want to set your sights on like the head of a network, a lot of times that's out of your league. They're not necessarily going to, even with the age difference, or, maybe you don't have a lot in common. But a lot of the people that are on their way up to that are in your network already. And you might want to approach those people and say, you know what, I am going to actually focus on a certain person and build a relationship with them based on the mutual interest. We both love Johnny Depp. It could be that simple. Just make sure that what you're building is authentic, that the relationship is authentic, what you feel about that person or what you like about that person is true, is genuine, and you approach them. Yes, you definitely want to be friends with them because of what they can do for you in the future, or what you could do for them. But you also got to find what you like about them and be genuine and authentic and build a real friendship there, because real friends will do anything for each other.
You also author books?
Yeah, you know what? I get a lot of actors and their parents too. I get actors, adult actors that send me their headshots and resumes every day, and I get parents that call or send me information about their kids every day. And I am so excited that people have a passion and a desire to be in the business. But they also don't have any idea what they're doing 95% of the time. And I would hate to see a really talented person not achieve their goals and their dreams because they didn't know how to do it. So because I've been in the business for 25 plus years, I decided to write down every single thing that I can think of that could help an actor. And I wrote it in my first ebook called How to Break into Show Business: Secrets of a Hollywood Talent Manager. And then I realized that parents of children need a book because they really have no idea how to get their child into the business. And when I first started as a manager, one of the first clients I had was my own daughter. I took her headshot myself against a blank wall. I sent it to agents that I knew. I got her into acting classes, and she started booking commercials and print campaigns, and she was modeling for a long time. So I know how it works as a parent, as an agent, as a manager. And that's really profound information for any parent to have. So I wrote another one called How to Break Your Kids into Show Business: Secrets of a Hollywood Talent Manager. And then as I do a lot of videos for actors, for their parents on YouTube. I do a lot of interviews and radio interviews, and I just try to get my knowledge to people in the business as much as possible. I realized that another really huge place where actors have questions is all over the country. They're trying to figure out how to become an actor wherever they live. They could be in Kentucky or Florida, and they're calling me, how do I get on television? How do I make films? What do I do? And I had to write a book for that. I had to write a book called Become a Star Right Where You Are. And the whole purpose of that is to make actors understand that you don't need to wait until you get to LA or Chicago or New York to start building your career. You need to build it right where you are. So if you are saying you want to be an actor, you need to get into community theater, your school theater, elementary, high school, junior high, college, and do as much theater as you can. I had a woman send me her daughter's resume, who's 16 this morning. I looked at her resume, and she has so much training on it and so many productions. I think 25 theater productions on her resume, and she's 16. And she wants to come out to LA and meet with me. This is a client that I'm actually interested in meeting with, because when she and her mother call me to say, I want to be an actor, they mean it. They really mean it. This kid has been doing theater and studying and training right where she is in Kentucky for years. So I would really be more inclined to take on a brand new actor who's shown me that kind of commitment in their own state, as opposed to someone who's right down the street from me who says they want to be an actor and has never done any theater.
How do we get more information about you and your book series?
If you are interested in finding out more information about me, you can go to my website, secretsofahhollywoodtalentmanager.com. And also my company website is WAW Entertainment. And I suggest, if you're new, or even if you've been in the business for a while, there are so many resources out there for you to learn how this business works. The VCN, which is where you're seeing me right now, is an amazing resource for actors who are all over the world or all over the country, because you can watch this from the convenience of your own home or anyone's computer, your iPhone, whatever. You can learn from industry professionals, managers, agents, casting directors, how the business works. It's the kind of experiences that I had to actually fly out here to LA to get, and actually spend 10 years working to meet these people and in their offices to learn how it is. They're coming to you live in your own living room, talking to you about how the business works. So if you're serious about being an actor, I would sit down and watch every single video here on the VCN, and go to my YouTube channel. I have 220 videos, and you can learn so much about the business that way. There are books, so many books that you can read. You've got to become well-versed in how the business works if you're going to become a success at it.
Any last words of advice?
One of the things I would really like to make sure actors understand is that they are a brand. And like Pepsi Cola or any other brand, I can name them all so we don't have to specify any one. Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Fanta, whatever. It doesn't matter what the brand is. It stays the same all the time. The logo's the same. The colors are the same. The look is the same. It's the same for any business. You as an actor are a business. Your logo, your brand should be consistent all the way across. And that means even down to the email. One of the things that I find is another pet peeve, but one of the things I find is an actor will call themselves John Michael Thomas on their resume, John M. Thomas on IMDb, John the Boy on his email. You know, their website is JM Thomas. This makes you think of 4 different actors. At least that's how it works for me and other people in the business. When you change your name from one site to another, from your IMDb to your website to your headshot to your email to your demo reel, that it could be 5 different actors. You've got to keep your brand exactly the same. Pick your name and stick to it. It should be the same headshot on your business card, on your website, on your IMDb page, on your demo reel. It should be the same face. We should be seeing the same person because remember, there are 160,000 actors. There's 50,000 actors coming here every year, 160,000 members of SAG, I believe. You cannot come across like 5 different actors. You'll get lost just like that. And you've got to come with your brand very consistent. Your headshot should be, you know, when I had professional headshots done from a cover of my book, a cover of my album years ago, it's still the same headshot I use on my blog, my YouTube channel. You are recognized by that. So you've got to pick an image that really reflects you, that looks exactly like you at your best, and then use it for everything. That's a really big trick.